Hey guys, it's Jackie from Jack Gets Lost in a Book Hole, and sorry, I had to readjust for that second, but, I want to talk to you guys about something that's not a book, but a show that I have fallen in love with. I've been in love with it for 4 years now, but now, after the last few episodes, and I don't know why it's blurry right now. That's never happened before, but I feel like it's kind of blurry for some reason. Like, it's not getting to focus. Well, anyway, as long as you guys can still see me. And this is related to something that I've always been intrigued by, a particular work of fiction, but I never really got into it fully. Well, first of all, the show is called Gotham, and yes, it's that Gotham. The Gotham where Batman, the Joker, Alfred, Jim Gordon, Penguin, Riddler, Mr. Freeze, and all those wonderful, gorgeous people that have now become like my babies, even though a lot of them are kind of psychotic. They're like that child that only a mother could love. But this is Gotham. What makes this different from the movies and the comic books and like the animated series and all the other TV shows that are related to that the Batman universe is this is the origin story. This is how it all started. But it's an alternate universe story, so it does differentiate from the original material that inspired it. So the first episode starts with after Bruce's parents get killed. And then the rest of the story is all about what leads up to where Gotham is in the comic books and, in the movies and stuff. Now, unfortunately, my only exposure to the Gotham universe, the Batman storyline, was the 90s movies. And then, eventually, the Nolan movies. So, I didn't know a lot about it. I just knew what was given in those movies from the 90s. And actually my favorite villain, the villain that I was most interested in, people who grew up with the comics were not happy with the interpretation of this particular villain. And that is the Riddler. But I was already a fan of Jim Carrey. So, of course, I was going to like his interpretation. Now, on that note, I personally don't think we should blame Jim Carrey himself, because this is what he's good at. He's good at comedy, but he is capable of doing really scary, he's capable of being scary and creepy. Trust me, he is. Like, watch number 23, the movie number 23. That is a good, and as far as the drama is concerned, he has done, Man on the Moon, and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. So yes, believe it or not, he can do scary and serious stuff. And I feel like because of the time, it was in the 90s, so he was still kind of not exactly new to the scene, but it was around the time of the Ace Ventura movies and The Mask. And I feel, and it could have very well, not all actors can do their own thing. Sometimes they're told, this is what you're good at, so you should do it like this. Plus, I think the Joel Schumacher movies were kind of going for a cheesy comic book feel, anyway. And the Tim Burton movies were going for comic book feel, but a little darker, more quirky and gothic, no pun intended. So I've always had a thing for smart, intelligent, classy, clever male characters. And, I never was interested in those goofy villains, like the Kim Possible type villains, where they're always goofy and they're always cartoonish. I never liked that. I prefer my villains to be intelligent and scary. Like, not just because they're, scary looking, which actually, funny enough, I feel like that's kind of part of what makes the Joker so freaky, is because he is a little scary looking with his bleached skin and his grin and everything. But, which I will get to that in a minute. But I was always interested in the Riddler, and then Corey Michael Smith in the show of Gotham sealed the deal for me. His performance. And like I said, I didn't know anything. My only knowledge of, like I said, was the 90s movies. And then when it first came out, my friend from Florida, this is our first time meeting and everything, and she came to stay with me for a week, and we went to a convention together. And, I found out that she was interested in that universe. That whole Gotham, Batman stuff, and she had read the comics, so she was my way in. She was my teacher of that universe. She taught me everything I know now about that universe. Well, not everything, because there was a little bit like that, a little information you got in the movies and stuff. But I mean, I love Jim Carrey's performance, but like I said, Corey Michael Smith's performance sealed the deal for me. I mean, he's just like, he's got the nerdy thing going on, but he's also got the like intimidating, scary thing going on. It's such a brilliant performance, and I love his. I just love Corey's performance. I mean, it's hard to really sum up my feels about the show. I mean, especially after this season and what's been going on. These last few episodes have been awesome, and the show just gets better and better. And I know not a lot of people agree, because especially due to a certain character's death, but you know what? The actor is still playing the part, and I will get to that in a minute. But it wasn't just Corey's performance. I mean, the whole cast. I mean, like the young Bruce, I can't say his name. I have to hear it again. The kid who plays Bruce and the girl who plays Selena are both brilliant. And these kids are younger than me. They're teenagers. And they do such a good job at capturing the characters and their emotions, and it's amazing. And then now, because my only experience with the Batman Gotham universe was those movies, before the Nolan movies anyway, so the closest my version of the Penguin was Danny DeVito's version. Now, Danny DeVito was a great actor, and he did a good job, but it didn't appeal. The character did not appeal to me. All I thought was he was really creepy and pervy, which I guess that's kind of what Tim Burton and Danny DeVito were going for, which is fine. I mean, it was still entertaining. But then Robin Lord Taylor's performance on Gotham is incredible. I want to hug him, even though he's a criminal mastermind that has a really bad temper. I want to comfort him and give him the love he deserves. I mean, well, maybe that's a little bit reaching, because he's, like I said, he's a criminal mastermind, but still, you feel so bad for him, and and that's to the writing and Robin Lord Taylor's performance. He does such a great job at getting you to be scared, but also to feel sorry for the character. And also laugh at the character when he gets himself in. Like, there was actually a situation in the most recent episode that was really funny. And people were saying how it was very comic book-esque. It was a way to bring a scene from that could be in a comic book to life, and it was like one of my favorite moments in episode 18. That's what episode it was in, and it was so funny. And if you watched it, I'm sure you can guess what scene I'm talking about. It was towards the end of the episode. It was like one of the last few scenes, and it's with Penguin. But his performance is so good. And the funny thing is, the actor is such a sweet guy. I met him at a convention, and he was so sweet and so nice, but he plays that part so deliciously well. And so it's amazing, and I love it. And like I said, it's not just about the actors, it's also the writing is so great. It's in the everything about Gotham is done so well. And I really hope that, despite some people's issues with it, that they really do, that the Fox network is right, and that it will get a place next fall, and we will get a season 5. We have to, because they are going to end season 4 on a cliffhanger, because they are so confident that they will get a season 5. But that's not 100% guarantee, and that's like 99% guarantee, I feel like. Or maybe 90%, I don't know. Of course, I'm not good with math, so. But it's, but they're not 100% sure it's going to happen, but the people at Fox do believe that it deserves to be on the lineup. And they're going to the point where they're going to end it on a cliffhanger, and I will be pissed if they end it on a cliffhanger and we don't get a season 5. And that is not fair to us, those of us who love the show and don't think it's bad. And I mean, there are shows that get several seasons that I personally feel are have bad writing, and they still somehow get multiple seasons. They still will continue on. Now, of course, if you watch my videos, I'm sure you'll know what show I'm referring to, if you're really paying attention to my videos. But I won't bring that up because I bring it up all the time, and I'm sure you guys are fed up with that. But Robin's Robin does such a great job at playing the character, and he even went a little method because he actually put a bottle cap in his shoe so that he could perfect the limp that Oswald has, so he can do the penguin walk and everything. And I went to the comment because at the time I had a pixie cut and my hair is dark brown, as you can see. So I could pull off I could be penguin as far as my physical looks. So the first time I did it, I actually did put a bottle cap in the bottom of my shoe. And unless you can handle walking around the whole convention with that I wouldn't recommend it unless you really want to go authentic with the limp and you think you can't pull it off. But honestly, I don't think it's such a good idea because that after a while, walking around that big, those conventions all day with that in your foot, in your shoe, is really uncomfortable. It's just, I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, if you want to, go for it, but it's not the most comfortable thing to do. But you know what? I mean, so the ones that, I always love Corey and Robin's performance, and they are my favorite characters. In fact, my best friend mostly talks about those two because she loves those characters so much. I try to spread my fangirlness and talk about all the characters. But, the character that is now, this is a new love of character, because I liked this character. I knew this particular character was a fan favorite, and I liked it, I understood why, but, from the movie, the 1989 movie, I wasn't like, oh my god, this is the best character ever. I understood why people love this character so much, but I didn't feel that way about the character until Gotham and a certain actor's performance of this character. Which actually reminds me, and I'm going to bring up that show again that I constantly bring up because of my frustration with it, that this character from Gotham reminds me of my favorite character on Once Upon a Time, and that character is Rumpelstiltskin. This is like, if Rumpel had no humanity whatsoever, then I could see him being like this character on Gotham. And I'm sure you all know who I'm talking about, because he's everybody's favorite out of the villains. He's the number one, he's the king, he's the crown prince, the clown prince of crime. And yes, I am talking about the Joker. And and he is played by Cameron Monaghan, who I realize now I saw him when he was a kid. I watched the movie, one of the few Adam Sandler movies I like, because I'm not a big fan of Adam Sandler, but he was in Click. He was the bully that was picking on Adam Sandler's son all the time. He was also, for those of you who watch who are into musical theater, he plays Winthrop Peru from Music Man in the TV movie, 2003 movie, starring Matthew Broderick and Kristen Chenoweth. He plays the cute, adorable little boy with the lisp, and he's so cute. And I never realized it was him, because at the time, of course, in 2003, I didn't know who he was. I just thought that, I was just like, oh, that kid is adorable and everything, and but it wasn't. I think I find him even more adorable now, knowing the actor he grows up to become. But anyway, let's get back to Gotham, and his performance as the Joker just steals the show. In fact, he is now, like, we have a, and he just, such, from the very first scene that he, okay, it's technically not the first scene that I'm talking to that we are introduced to his character in Gotham. It's the second, I think, second or third or fourth scene. I don't know how many scenes he gets in that first episode of season 1, but he plays a character named Jerome whose mother is a circus performer, and then his mother, I don't remember what she was in the circus exactly, but she dies, and Jim Gordon and Harvey Bullock are investigating her death and finding who done it, kind of thing. And Jerome is her son. He's a teenager. He's an 18-year-old, and he's at first he seems like a sweet kid that you kind of feel sorry for, but then by the end of it, you find out that Jerome, spoiler alert, killed his mommy, and he's actually a psycho. And he is our Joker prototype. He's not the Joker. He's the prototype, because this is an origin story. This is about where it all started. And his performance, he goes from 10 to 90, or 10 to 100, and just like that. He's at first, Jim Gordon tells him what's going on, that he knows he killed his mother, and that this old man that he's part of the circus is his biological father and had helped him kill his mom and bury the body and stuff. And he's crying. The kid Jerome is all heartless, crying. Is no, this can't be. And he's just, of course, watching the performance now. I'm not. It's. Let me see if I can explain this. But the scene with the parts when he's all crying, is all upset, and is I can't believe it, and how could you tell it? Why would you think that about me? And you can't be my father, and blah blah blah. The way he performed that moment, it felt over dramatic, and not. I don't mean Cameron Monaghan's acting was bad. I think the acting was done. He did it that way on purpose. Because then he's does this, he's crying and everything, and at first it sounds like he's crying, he's burying his face, and you kind of feel bad for him. Of course, at that point, Jim Gordon knows that he killed his mom, but maybe he thinks, oh, this kid needs help, and maybe he has a split personality or something, or whatever, which is funny, because I'll get to that, why I find that really funny, actually, that I'm saying that, but then all of a sudden, it sounds like he's laughing. It's just so. And then he slowly looks up, and he's got this huge grin on his face, and he's and he is a totally different person, just like that. I can't snap, so I'm not gonna snap, but just like that, he's a completely different person, and he does this whole 180. And he's just, he's one of those people that will, if you annoy him, then he'll kill you. He's like, my mom was a drunken whore. Fine, Mom, be a whore, be a drunken whore, but don't be a nagging drunk whore. That's his reason, because she kept nagging him, and that's his reason for why he finally snapped and killed her. I love those kind of villains where just the simple little thing, the simple thing, being nagged on, is what motivates them to finally snap and kill a person. Just because someone annoys them, then they kill them. And I love that, reading that in books and seeing that in movies and TV shows. It's so funny that just a simple little thing can set them off. But his performance just steals the show for me. There's that moment, and then there's so many other great scenes that he does that it's oh my god, wow, this guy is brilliant. He's perfect as the Joker, and everyone gets so, everyone's all oh, he's gotta be the Joker, he has to be the Joker. But the writers and Cameron kept confirming that, no, Jerome is not the Joker. And then, next thing you know, spoiler alert, we find out who is the real Joker. or at least as of right now, we're not, there could be like a third Joker introduced. This might not be the official Joker, but everyone wanted him to be the Joker. And then Jerome, and then in episode 18, or not 18, episode 16 or 17 of season 4, we find out that Jerome has a twin brother. And it's like, oh my god, it's perfect, because you still get Jerome, you still get Cameron as the part. It's still Cameron, but he's a different person. There's another version of another person, a brother, that looks exactly like him, a twin. And it's just that whole thing, especially the climax scene, when he is officially Jeremiah, that's the other character's name, when he's officially, and yes, he has a J name too, it's perfect. And he's officially named, the scene where he officially becomes the Joker. It's just, that scene just gives me chills, and I will watch it on repeat. I love that scene. Of course, my problem is because I like watching horror films and stuff like that, but I will still get scared. So, I fully admit that. So, if I watch that scene and then I go to bed not that long after I've watched that clip from that episode, the episode when he becomes the Joker, I end up thinking, oh my god, what if I look and he's standing right there? I know logically, in my mind, yes, that's not possible. It's a fictional character. Yes, there are serial killers that could break in the window and, be standing there and try to kill me. But I know, yeah, the Joker won't be standing there in the middle of my room staring at me. But it's just, you get caught up in the atmosphere, and you get caught up in the moment, especially at night, and then it's you think, your more imaginative brain is thinking, he's going to be standing right there staring at you, ready to spray you with the laughing gas and make you crazy. That was another awesome thing that they did. They did the spray. For those of you who know the Gotham universe, they did the laughing gas, which was so amazing. And it was so creepy, because in the 1989 movie, they do something like that with the makeup and stuff, the cosmetics that the Joker comes up with, because he's really smart. But instead, this one is like a spray that it's kind of connected to the fear gas the Scarecrow makes, and they made a new version of it, which makes you crazy, will make you nuts. And they did that so brilliant. They did it so amazingly. I love that part. It still gives me, it gives me nightmares, but I love when things give me nightmares, and that means it's good. Because scary stuff, it's supposed to scare you. Unless you just been watching your horror movie, like my best friend, who has been watching horror movies in her whole life. She grew up during the whole Halloween era, and the Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street era. So she's been desensitized to horror films. It does not bother her. It does not faze her. But I didn't grow up watching horror films. So, but still, I think generally speaking, that's what scary stuff, when it's horror, that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to scare you. So it's that whole transformation when he sprays the people just freaks me out, and in the best possible way. And I love. So actually, this video isn't about Gotham, the whole show. It's really about my 3 favorite characters in the show. And I feel like you definitely, because they do such a good job, and it's all these new spins, it still has a lot of the same elements of the original material, at least from what I'm told. And the story almost stays true, but because this is an alternate universe version, it deviates slightly. It takes a different track, a different road with these characters. But it still stays true to who they are as people. It stays true to their personalities. And I feel like, because I kind of spoiled it, this is really more of a video for those of you who've already been watching it, because I spoiled it. So it's not really a recommendation video per se. It kind of is and it kind of isn't. But it kind of isn't because I spoiled a lot, and if you're trying to recommend a show, then you probably don't want to spoil it. But it's just, and they also add all these new villains, like the pig and pig as in not PIG, it's pig as in PYG or G or PGY. I think it's PYG, Pygmalion. That's the character. That's what he means, like as in Pygmalion, not as in pig the animal. But that is another villain I love, and he's a new one. He's not in the original comic books, I don't think, but he does a great job with that, and I really love that character and that interesting. That is such a great story, the pig character. But it's just such a great show, and I really hope it gets to season 5. I mean, there is a pretty good chance, but I'm still very nervous. But this May is when they found out last year that they got a season 4, so I'm guessing May will be when because it'll be May in a few days, so my birthday month actually. And I found out that the last episode of the season is going to be on my birthday, which is so awesome. But, it's awesome as in it's on my birthday, but then it's kind of sad because that means the show's over for the season, and we still don't know if we're going to get a season 5. Especially and it's worse because it's going to end on a cliffhanger. But, yes. It's great, and because this video is getting really long, I'm going to stop gushing about Gotham and the characters I love from Gotham. And I hope you guys enjoy this, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. And click subscribe if you haven't already and you like what you've seen in my videos. Alright, bye. Love you.